The president said he's grateful that former President Trump is safe and grateful to the Secret Service, adding there's no place for this kind of violence in America and the nation must unite to condemn it. Now we want to bring in former White House Press Secretary Scott McClellan. Thank you so much for being here with us, Mr. McClellan.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Well, Mr. McClellan actually worked under President George W. Bush's administration. Emotions are running high no matter which party you're siding with at this point. How could this assassination attempt not only impact the Trump campaign, but also the Biden campaign in these next coming months? We're really just 4 months away from the election.
It's absolutely a major game changer in terms of the campaign itself. And of course, right now, everybody, the public sentiment, you want to step back and not think about the campaign so much and think about how grateful we are that the worst didn't happen. Unfortunately, we lost a gentleman at the attack on the attempted assassination attempt against President Trump, former President Trump. But fortunately, the president was not more seriously injured. And this is a time when you see leaders across the country coming out immediately and condemning any type of political violence. You talk about the current political environment, right on the outset of the Republican National Convention coming up in Milwaukee starting tomorrow officially. This is a very tense political time. It has been. In more normal political times, this is what you would expect to see the country reacting, coming together, uniting. This is not more normal political times. It hasn't been for quite some time, but you hope that the country will continue to unite and come together, set aside the partisan animosity for a bit. It's going to be really hard with the RNC coming up, where you have your most activist, vocal partisans coming together. You have the Democrats preparing to respond to all of that. But I think you're going to see a very different type of convention. The tenor and tone of that convention is going to be very important. I'm sure both campaigns are recalibrating, okay, how do we approach this? How do we move forward? And how do we move forward and take this opportunity, if you will, to bring the country together, to say, let's get beyond this kind of hostility, this kind of rhetoric, and focus on the issues that matter to this country.
Now, Scott, in your position when working in the White House, you saw the Secret Service on a regular basis. You could see the Secret Service at that rally jump into action right away. Could you just share with us a little bit what it's like to see them when you're in their presence, when they're on the job? Well,
they do an amazing job. When you travel with the president like I did 95% of the time, and even a candidate before that during the 2000 campaign when I traveled with then Governor George W. Bush, you come to respect the job that they do. You know that they take their job very seriously. They go to great lengths to try to prevent something like this from happening in the first place. Unfortunately, the investigation will certainly bring out, well, how did this happen? The fact that the shooter got some shots off before he was taken out. He was quickly taken out. I'm not surprised by that. And from the video, it looked like it was one shot from the counter-assault team, the sniper on the roof, that took him down, and fortunately that hopefully prevented further tragedy that could have happened at the event. But you come to respect, and you feel, when you're inside that bubble with the president, you feel very, very safe, and you just don't really envision something like this happening. So I know that they will be going through and looking at, well, what are our protocols? What do we need to maybe learn from this? And what might we change to do even better in the future? But they do an excellent job. I have nothing but praise for the Secret Service and the job that they do.
Well, President George W. Bush was in the country of Georgia when he was almost attacked. He wasn't injured in that situation, but could you talk about the behind the scenes that was happening in order to make sure he was okay, and then what was happening in the coming days to kind of, recoup, recalibrate, and move forward?
Yeah, well, I mean, and I almost vaguely remember that. I was there with him during that time. But in the fact that I kind of vaguely remember is it because of the great job that Secret Service does. So there's so many different layers of protection that go into that. So you have the Presidential Protective Detail, which is concerned first and foremost with the president and the first family and the president's staff around it to some extent. And then you layer out from there working with state and local officials, and in this case it'd be working with, in the case you referenced at Georgia, it'd be working with the the law enforcement officials in that country too, as it goes further out from the president, to help with some of that security, help with that protection, and to identify potential threats, or if something is suspicious, to bring it to someone's attention quickly. And it even looked like we're learning from video that there are some individuals that seem to be saying, hey, there's a suspicious guy over here climbing this building, and it was all happening so quickly. And you know, you're looking at the video and you're seeing the footage of this sniper now up on the roof, quickly looking over there. He seemed to have his target on this individual, trying to ascertain, well, what's going on here? And then as soon as the shots are fired, you see quickly a reaction from that video of that sniper on there, taking that individual out, fortunately, and hopefully saving more lives in the process.
Yeah, intense moments, and it's going to be a difficult several days to go, and just seeing everybody trying to come together.
It is, and let's see what the message is coming from the Republican National Convention. Let's see what the message is coming from Democrats. Hopefully it continues to be along the lines of what we're seeing in the immediate aftermath. For the most part, political leaders are out there starting, you know, I think Bernie Sanders was the first one I saw, President Biden, former President George W. Bush putting out statements, all saying some of the similar things. There's no place for political violence in our system of democracy here, and everybody must condemn it, and everybody should be praised for singing from that songbook.
Yeah. Scott McClellan, a member of the George W. Bush administration in the press office, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks, Farah.